just 3 of 20 in his last 2 games. So Earl Grant is a second-year head coach. Jaden Zachary is also in that BC backcourt. He is not in the starting lineup. A shin bruise in the game at Virginia Tech. We'll see if he comes in and can contribute any minutes this afternoon, Mike.
Yeah, he looked pretty good warming up, Tom. And, you know, the thing is, you're going to miss his defense, especially against this backcourt for NC State. And it's a big hit for BC to absorb.
Ashton Langford with the basketball for the Boston College Eagles. Home gold and maroon, traveling red for NC State. Pass inside, and Post has 2.
You know, it's interesting that they've switched the matchups, and they put Greg Grant on Post inside, figuring if he goes out to shoot the 3 that he can stay with him. You know, the Post will take him inside if that keeps up.
Now Post 42% from beyond the arc. Miss out of the corner. That's Joyner. Perhaps good to see him at least launching away, Mike, early on.
Yeah, we talked about with Kevin Keats about that, about the matchup and between Burns and Post. Now they're going to be spending some time this afternoon on one another. But
look at Post just backing his way down on Gant, who defended it well.
Defended it well, and no double team coming for NC State either, letting him play man up inside.
Smith, the jumper. Bounces off. Madsen pulls it down.
I've seen this on these noon starts, Tom. A little ragged in the, maybe the first 5-10 minutes of the game.
Just trying to get into the flow of things. Ashton Langford, acrobatic shot. He got bumped in midair, and he's clutching his lower right leg. It's Makai Ashton Langford, who for most of this season was BC's leading scorer before Quentin Post started to pour it on.
He just came down awkwardly, and Burns just kind of moved his body. And the thing about DJ Burns, he's not a shot blocker per se. Does take up a lot of space in there defensively. So he looks like he's ready either for World Cup soccer or coming back for Virginia Tech, as you said, that injury that he had. But Cheth Kelly with the game that he had in support. Seeing him this afternoon as well.
Coming off the bench with 17 points at Virginia Tech, the most recent victory for Boston College. They are 12-13 as a team with Ashton Langford from Worcester, Massachusetts at the free throw line. Younger brother DeMar also in the lineup.
I know a few people from Worcester.
So do I. It's a wicked awesome place, Mike. Smith, the runner, soft bounce.
Yeah, he's so good. He's so tough to keep in front in the half court. This NC State team likes to get out and run. They like to get offense from their defense, but both guys can break you down off the dribble.
Fantastic win for the Eagles, Mike, on the road in Blacksburg at Virginia Tech on Wednesday, 82-76. Post tries to regather. It was knocked away and a whistle. While we have a moment, let's take a look at our Ford keys to the game with Mike Jaminski.
Well, for NC State, they want to get out and run fast break points. They lost at Virginia, only 2 fast break points in the game. For Boston College, no turnovers. Take care of the ball, get positive possessions.
So Gant picked up the foul for NC State. Ashton Langford down the lane, spins it off the backboard, and the follow is good. BC crashing the glass with McLaughlin.
He also had a big game against Virginia Tech. It's pretty good, very good on the offensive boards.
McLaughlin had 14 points against the Hokies and was 6 of 7 from the floor in that win on Wednesday. Inside of 10 on the shot clock. Smith slicing through the Boston College defense.
And that's just created by himself. And Post came over, tried to get the shot, but you get that little teardrop in the lane.
18.5 points per game. Terquavian Smith, the sophomore from Greenville, North Carolina. And stepping on the sideline for BC out of bounds. That was a lead bag.
Well, here's the look, and you see he's just comes off, gets a little bit of a high brush, but that's all he needs. He doesn't need a lot of space to get his shoulders by the defender and get into the lane.
That shot over Quentin Post. 7-footer from Amsterdam, the Netherlands. Couldn't defend Terquavian Smith. That's been a problem for a lot of people this season. Rocking the rim with the 3, Smith.
And that was interesting that he got a switch that time, had post outside. I thought he was going to try to take him off the dribble, but it knocks down the three.
74 made threes this season for Smith, and that leads the team. And he's got all their points so far. Malik Bey missed on the turnaround too strong, and Burns feeds it up to Smith.
He's got a size advantage inside. Whoa. Whoa.
Settle down now, G-Man.
That was from the Worcester city limits, wasn't it?
From the 508. So it's Terquavion Smith 10, Boston College 5. Post back and down. That's a skillful move, Mike.
Yeah, and it's starting to come a little bit with the double team, but much quicker that time. Good decisive move. He's going to be able to get that shot against Gant.
56% from the floor for Quinton Post. Granted, most of those shots in tight to the basket. He does it at every level. From the free throw line, 42% from beyond the arc.
There's that switch again, but now they've got a guard inside on Burns.
DJ Burns from Rock Hill, South Carolina. A lot of dribbling. Had to pick it up. Morsell launching a three.
Pretty nice job by McLaughlin not letting him get into the lane, forcing him to give up the ball.
Entry post. Tried to get it right back to McLaughlin. Malik Bey gave it up. Post with a fake and two.
So tough when you can face up like that, and you know that you really put the defender in no man's land. Do I come up and challenge, or do I lay off? Beautiful up and under.
6 points now for Quinton Post. 3 of 4 from the floor.
Just let Post and Smith play floor.
Burns trying to join them in the box score. Muscling his way to the rim.
You know, I tell you, I'll go way old school. He reminds me of Bob Lanier.
Wow.
With his body type and his left-handed and that soft touch. St. Bonnie's guy, and then Naismith Hall of Famer.
That one ends up in the hands of Joyner. Morsell sets it up and knocks it down.
Morsell's been terrific for them. Had a big game against his former school, Virginia, in a losing cause, but he's been shooting 50% from three in his last two.
18 points at Virginia for Casey Morsell. And he made 4 3-pointers on 9 tries against the Cavaliers in a losing effort.
Gant is really working hard on Post inside, trying to front him. But in doing so, he gives up offensive rebounding position. Great seal by Post.
Post in the last 6 games has averaged over 21 points per. DJ Burns, calculate the angle, big man.
And he wrong-footed it too, I think, but still that soft touch.
Ashton Langford needs some assistance. Action up and down the court. Post has the basketball. Shot clock's down to 3. McLaughlin, tough catch from the paint.
Didn't get that, didn't sniff out the mismatch, and McLaughlin had Smith in the low post, but he got the ball late.
That loss at Virginia on Tuesday stopped a 4-game winning streak for the Pack. There's a whistle and a foul called. Terquavion Smith, 10 points, couple of 3-pointers, 4 of 5 from the floor. Quinton Post at the other end. He's got 8 to lead the Eagles.
11 lead, and a lot of the offense is by Terquavion Smith. He's been electric here early off the dribble. The thing that makes him so tough, Tom, is that he can do that, and when he's knocking down threes, almost becomes illegal in how you have to defend him.
He's made both of his 3-point attempts so far in this game. So he's up to 75 made for the season, 34% from beyond the arc on the year for Terquavion Smith, who is closing in, G-Man, on 1,000 points in his career.
Well, an interesting switch now. They've taken Quentin Post out of the ball game for BC. And NC State was involving him in high pick and rolls. They were switching it, and he picked up his last foul. And coming in, Jaden Zachary for his first action this afternoon. That's good to see.
And he's drawn the assignment of Terquavion Smith. Burns, short little jumper baseline.
Wow, they went right to the mismatch too. I mean, McLaughlin, he did a nice job earlier on his switch, but having to play him man up inside, that is awfully tough.
BC with the win at Virginia Tech on Wednesday. Also recent wins against Clemson, Louisville, and at Notre Dame. Tried to flip it into a congested area. Joyner, one-man show. Too strong. McLaughlin over the top rebound.
It's the way NC State wants to play, turnovers and getting out on the break.
Well, this is Chaz Kelly with the basketball. Boy, did he burst onto the scene in the last game, Mike, at Virginia Tech.
Hey, you know what? You're an injury away from significant playing time as Madsen missed the jump shot.
And Kelly's a freshman who had 17 points off the bench, and he's got the ball now.
Zachary missed most of that game out after the first 5 minutes with that leg injury.
That collision with a pokey and that lower leg bruise, and he is in the lineup right now. NC State has the basketball and an 8-point lead. Nearing the midway point of the first half. Burns just inside the free throw line. Madsen the rebound.
You can just see BC is such a different team without Post on the floor. It'd be interesting to see how long Earl Grant, I know he doesn't want him to pick up that second foul early in the half, though.
TJ Bickerstaff also in there, number 1 for BC. That's Zachary. Limited leaping ability doesn't stop him.
There were 5 red jerseys around him. There's no way he should come up with that, but that was just great fight. He beat everybody off the floor twice.
He's got that protective sleeve around the lower right leg, not impeding his ability to get free and get that rebound. And that's DJ Burns, determined to get to the glass.
Speaking of not impeding,
wow,
it's really tough to impede him from getting to the rim. He just puts it in reverse. That was a really nice footwork on the move.
Slick moves for a guy 6'9", 275 pounds, and a transfer from Winthrop. And now Joyner steals it away. Zachary ran it to Burns. You don't want to do that if you can avoid it. Morsell needed help. Joyner, a lot of dribbling. Almost knocked away by Bickerstaff. Out of the corner. Popped around, volleyball off the rim. Burns will tip it in.
Well, they kept it alive long enough, and Burns, he just is forcing everybody underneath the basket. It's going to be interesting. That it's going to be it's a tough matchup both ways. The Post is on the floor, and he's getting ready to check back in.
Bickerstaff the spin, challenging Burns. It falls, and he's going to the free throw line. So Burns at the offensive end. A problem so far for Boston College with 10 points, double digits, and a sweet spin from big number 30. But Bickerstaff challenging him and making him pick up the foul. Chance at a three-point play, Bickerstaff.
It would appear that
Up his second.
Only play 9% of the time, which is one of the worst in the league, or in the country, or not worse, I should say. That's his decision.
Yes.
So we probably have seen the last of Burns for this half. Good news for State. They don't have the offense behind them, but they do have defensive players that can fill in, and Post is back in with that one foul.
We'll see how this adds up. Fans of all ages enjoying the action from Connie Forum here in Chestnut Hill, Mass. On the BC campus. Bickerstaff is at the free throw line.
Yeah, you know, it's a thing to look at, that what coaches will do with the 2 personal fouls, and it's, I think it's a matter of trusting the person, whether they can play and still be fairly aggressive and not pick up the 3rd. Good matchup though now with Zachary and Smith. Better defensive matchup for BC.
LJ Thomas is in there for NC State. Ross and Dewana also joining the fray. That's Ross. Oh, a difficult shot, and he made it.
Well, we saw it. He had a massive game against Miami in the overtime win in Raleigh.
Ernest Ross had 17 points and 9 boards in that win against the Canes.
They've gone consistently with the power forward in guarding Ross. And watch the thing, too, that they're trying to involve Quentin Ross in the pick and roll.
Zachary hustles it up. Post. That's his sweet spot for the 3G. Straight on. He gave it away. Ashton Langford had it knocked away in midair. Morcell was unable to save it.
He surprised me by giving that 3 up, Tom. That's the one we've seen in this last stretch where he's been so effective.
Post has not attempted a 3 for his head coach Earl Grant, 2nd year. Coming over from the College of Charleston. Had a couple of wins at the tournament in Brooklyn last season.
Foul on Ross on the play.
First on Ernest Ross. Post 16.5 points per game. Almost 6.5 rebounds. Shoots 85% from the free throw line. His numbers add up, G. And imagine if they had him for the first 13 games of the season. He was out with a foot injury. Here's a look at our fresh market. Discover the best. Quentin Post.
Those are the numbers against Virginia Tech, and he's just been so constant. Plus 24 times in the last 6 games. That, we talked about those numbers. If you add up the field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, and the free throw percentage, if it's over 180, you're an elite shooter. Post is right there with those numbers.
The numbers against Virginia Tech, his 2nd double-double of the season, and he made all 3 of his 3-point tries against the Hokies in a winning effort. Smith on the handoff. Shot clock inside of 10. Smith 5 feet behind the line is short. Bounces around. Thomas kept it alive and preserved the possession for State.
People blocked out for BC that time, but nobody went after the ball.
Dewana set a little screen, and Thomas shot over it.
Now, talking about contributions, Thomas only averaged about 10 minutes a game. Last 2, only 8 minutes total as he played. Nice impact so far.
Thomas is a freshman from Plant City, Florida. Post backing it down. He's making it look easy, G-Man.
Well, and it's also from the right block, and he's coming in and scored with his left hand that time. Pretty solid. And NC State is stunting a little bit with the double, but not really committing to coming down.
12 points now for Quentin Post, and that leads everybody. Burns and Smith have 10 for NC State. We're inside of 7.5 minutes to go in our first half. What a pass inside Smith. And they're going to score that basket. So Smith was able to find Ross, and you can score the basket for NC State in front by 7 over the Eagles. Well, on the last day of January, 20th ranked Clemson came to Chestnut Hill. Hunter Tyson had his regular game for the Tigers, 22 points and 8 rebounds. But the Eagles stayed tough. Makai Ashton Langford, 2 key baskets down the stretch. BC gets the upset, 62-54. 3rd win in 4 games for the Eagles.
And Tom, you really have to throw out all the game tape pre-post play. This is a completely different team, and those are the only ones you should look at. A big win here, a chance to pick up a win again against a ranked opponent here. And the thing for BC, Post has been Post, but they've got to get that 2nd and 3rd scorer going. For NC State, they had him. Burns is in foul trouble with 2 on the bench. Joyner has not scored in the game yet. He's got to get going.
He's only taken 2 shots and missed them both. Earl Grant's team, by the way, Mike, if you reflect back to that Clemson win against number 20 Clemson at the time, they held them 20 points below their season scoring average.
I think they went 13 minutes without a field goal in that game. You know, the one thing when you talk to coaches playing against this team, physical, tough, those are words that pop up all the time.
Kevin Keats trying to get his program back to the NCAA tournament in his 6th year as the head coach of the NC State Wolfpack.
That's the thing that could work in BC's favor. NC State 5-team fouls now. NC can get to the bonus.
Eagles have not hit a 3 yet in this game.
We've seen that before against North Carolina. 0-6 in that game.
Yeah, but they made 12 at Virginia Tech, Mike. That was a season high in the winning effort. Zachary, tough angle.
Well, and you can see Duano was out. He was guarding post and forced him to give it up behind the three-point line. He's a little better matchup defensively inside and outside.
It appears, Mike, that our pace has slowed just a little bit here. Smith with a tough one.
Well, here's the thing, too. When Duana's setting the screen, post does not have to honor that. You know, it's a different deal with Burns out there. It makes it a much better play.
Zachary on the pass from post.
Really nice. I mean, Zachary is so good out there. I mean, it's just a steadying force. Runs the offense well, and he's got good size.
What a pass by Quentin Post. And then he stops Joyner's progress, and he has to send it back out to Smith. Duana set the screen. Smith's shot never got to the rim. Matson will run it down.
A much better defense on Smith in these last few minutes for BC.
Prince Aligbe backing down. Offensive foul against the Eagles.
Now, here's the thing. At his size, he can see over people. You got to get up and pressure that pass, but that's just easy. You know, sometimes we make the sport too tough, Tom. The easy plays are usually the best ones.
But those kind of collaborations, Mike, are born out of practice and the repetitions and the chemistry between teammates, and you can see it right there between those two guys.
Yeah, and now, after having played 12 games, everybody's on the same page with him.
Shot clock inside of 10. Smith, bothered by Matson on the hip, doesn't stop. Terquavian Smith.
It just doesn't matter. BC running a lot of different bodies at Smith defensively, but he's taking on all comers right now.
Man, he is silky smooth, G-Man. Aligbe trying to fill the lane. He went down.
Ross with a nice defensive play.
This is Joyner on the dribble.
He's so anxious to get something in the scoring column.
And he will. Jarkel Joyner was 2 of 14 and had 5 points at Virginia. And he struggled the last 2 games, but he had that last bucket for NC State.
Well, and how about this number, Tom? And the NC State doing everything one-on-one and off the dribble. 15 made field goals. They only have 3 assists. They got people doing stuff individually.
Time for our CPI security, protecting the paint.
There's that look inside and you know what, this team, NC State, doesn't have any individual in the top 15 in shot blocking, but they're the best shot blocking team in the conference.
Almost 5 blocks per game for NC State. They're second in scoring, over 78 points per game. And if they get to 70, Mike, watch out. NC State is 19-2 on the offensive end and strong defensively as well.
Yeah, it's blocked second. I'm sorry, I said they were first, but I mean, this is how they score. This is where their offense comes from: steals, forced turnovers, blocks, converting out in the open floor. Already 6 fast break points in this game, and more importantly, 6 BC turnovers, 10 points off of those turns. So that's a number that Boston College has to really take a look at.
NC State, number 22 in the nation. They've won 8 of their last 10. You can see they're attending to Mekhi Ashton Langford's uniform.
I need that stuff for some of my shirts.
Yeah, the stain remover. And he will remain in the game. Tough customer. Kevin Keatts' team ranked for the first time since 2019.
This is their best 25 game start since 05-06. Wolfpack getting it done, looking like a very solid NCAA tournament team.
And 9-5 in conference play coming into this afternoon. Zachary in extra gear, post with the tip.
How about Zachary? We were wondering about his participation today. He's been aggressive in attacking the rim.
I think he tested that shin early, G-Man, and he felt he was ready to go. Inside, knocked away. BC recovered defensively.
Really, really nice pass that time, but no finish.
There's a finish.
And there's a finish. Boy, nobody stopped Ashton Langford. Kevin Keatts not happy with that defensive transition.
First field goal of the game on the drive by Mekhi Ashton Langford, and started at the defensive end by Post and Bickerstaff. And then the individual effort from number 11 for the Eagles. Jersey. JB is the head coach in Cleveland.
He's the
his uncle.
He's the OG of that family.
Isn't he?
Sure, yeah. And you know, just a long-time NBA lifer. But yeah, that first name, Kobe Bryant, still just hard to believe what happened to him and how his life ended and the impact that he had. And during that time, you know, I got a chance I played against his dad, actually, Joe Bryant. But certainly, you know, Kobe, and it brought back memories too with LeBron becoming the all-time leading scorer with Los Angeles, and Kareem being there, and guys that I played against.
Saw Bill Russell on the back of one of those shirts, and you know what that name means
around here,
this part of the country.
Absolutely.
And he's being honored throughout the NBA this season with the number 6. Smith has the ball and flings it into the corner. Joyner. He might have had a comment for that BC bench as well, G-Man.
Well, and we talked about it, looking for a shot a little bit more, but that's spacing. And when those guys are knocking down threes, almost impossible to guard.
4 of 10 as a team on three-pointers for NC State. They make about 8.5 per game, and they've got the ball back.
The thing is, I mean, neither one of them, Smith or Joyner, are great three-point shooters, but they're good enough that it really sets up their drive.
Post grabbed it out of midair.
Good hands by Ashton Langford.
Eagles trailing by 10. Closing in on 3 minutes to go in our first half of play. So glad that you're with us. Tom Wormy, Mike Jaminski, our outstanding ACC basketball production crew. This is the first of 2. Virginia Tech's on the road at Notre Dame to follow us.
Remember I said about finding a secondary scorer, and maybe Zachary is that guy. 7 points, 3 of 5. And I was going to say, the BC had not taken advantage of Burns being out of the ball game. They hadn't made up much ground at all, but that's a huge shift.
First 3 of the game for the Eagles by Zachary, and then he commits the foul. Out at the 9:53 mark of the first half for DJ Burns.
How about in those first 10 minutes, 10 points, 7 rebounds for him. So he was having an impact on the game.
He only had 8 points at Virginia in the loss this week. He had gone 9 straight games in double digits. And there's a double-digit machine right there, Terquavian Smith.
He's playing so much more under control this year. His turnovers are down, his assists are up.
25 times to double digits. That's every game except 1. Post inside.
Nice roll into the basket. He set a screen up high and then just went right to the front of the rim.
Does so well, Mike, to position himself for those high percentage chances near the rim.
Well, I mean, you know, with Burns not out there, there's a lot more space to work with in the paint area.
That's true. Deflected. Kelly got a piece of it and then hung on to it. Post leads everybody with his 16 points. This is Zachary. Stop and start. Free throws coming up. Jaden Zachary, the sophomore from Salem, Wisconsin.
You know, and this is the thing, Tommy. We talk about it. I mean, he was out. He didn't score against Virginia Tech. Only played 4 or 5 minutes. But in the 2 games prior to that, he was rolling offensively. 13.5 points a game. You can see right there. And again, it was only 7 minutes. And he's not a huge scorer, but he's got the knack to do when his team needs him.
Well, he does have that bandage on the right lower leg, Mike, but it hasn't bothered him much so far.
Tom, I think with that, it's more pain management if it gets knocked again, as opposed to like an ankle, a rolled ankle, or a hamstring, or something like that really inhibits your movement. He looks like he's moving great out on the floor.
See, he's got that protected pad inside the sleeve. Minute and a half to go. The lead is down to 6 for NC State, which is led by as many as 11. And that's a 3 from Joyner.
Well, there's the switch again. They ran that high pick and roll, and it was Joyner that had Post on him.
Post couldn't catch it out of bounds. Back to NC State.
Yeah, that was a tough pass. They tried to go back to him.
Trying to get back to the NCAA tournament for the Wolfpack since 2018. Kevin Keatts' first season took him to the postseason tournament. NCAA style. Inside of a minute to go, first half. Joyner's got a couple of threes, and now he's got another one. Watch out for number 1.
And that was terrific defense. He got caught over the screen. Kelly was right there, and Joyner just beats him with a fabulous shot.
50% from beyond the arc for NC State in the first half. It bounces out of bounds. BC doesn't get a call.
Here's the look. I mean, we talked about it. It was Smith in the first half of this half, and then Joyner crossovers just bought him enough space to get the jump shot up.
11 points now for Joyner. Double digits 21 times this season. He documented his struggles in the last 2 games, but not today against the Eagles. So they're just checking the shot clock right now. There's only a 2-second difference, game and shot at the moment. Officials Chuck Jones, Tom Morrissey, and Greg Evans this afternoon.
You talked about Burns in his game against Virginia. Under double figures, Virginia does as good a job doubling the post as any team in the country.
Tops in scoring defense in the ACC, no surprise there.
And watching him play in the first half, we should zero in on Burns to see if BC tries to attack him early, get that extra foul. Looks like Post is going to get by with just that one personal.
3 Wolfpack players in double digits in scoring in the first half. Late in the shot clock and in the game clock. Joyner, scissor kick 3. Bickerstaff rises up to the board. Ashton Langford sends it and misses right before the horn. 44-32, and NC State goes to the locker room with the lead. And Smith only needs 3 points for 1,000 in his career for the sophomore from Greenville, North Carolina. Clinton Post from the Netherlands, Amsterdam. See what kind of contributions those 2 players make. You would imagine they'd be significant. Second 20 minutes. Largest lead of the game right now as we start the second half for NC State. Tom Wormy, Mike Jaminski, our outstanding ACC college basketball production crew. And there's Burns.
No double team coming that time. Great patience. And you notice, we talk about it, he sat the last 10 minutes of that first half, so NC State wanted him to get some touches, get him going early here.
That is a veteran player as a transfer from Winthrop. 116th career game. Trying to defend McLaughlin. Score the basket. Foul number 3 on Burns.
Yeah, that was was a big play early on. They got the switch right here, and he just went full attack right inside. And there was it was the reach in there. He didn't have to do that. But here it is. I mean, this is you know, he's left-handed. He's going to turn that way to the baseline there, but really sets up his shot nicely.
So Burns has 12 points in the game. He's looking over at Kevin Keats. Right now, he's still in the ballgame.
Well, now the thing is that in BC, with Burns staying in the game, they're going to, you know, they should attack him as much as they can.
So the redshirt freshman Devin McLaughlin from Cumming, Georgia, could not complete the old school three-point play.
Yeah, they're going to try to get as much out of Burns as they can on the floor right now.
Burns over a double team. Ashton Langford pulls it down. Up ahead post, deflected. He wanted a foul, didn't get it. Here's Morsell.
Pass was too low to him in transition. Now for Quavian Smith, just seemingly scoring at will in this game, Tom. I mean, that time just surveyed things, rising up for, you know, you want him to rise up for a three on the break.
Third made three for Smith. Post, not enough elevation.
Wow. I mean, even NC State conceded that basket.
The Eagles get it back. That was a dicey elevation situation, G-Man.
Rejected by the rim.
Out of bounds to BC after the miss by a League Bay.
There's a look, and you score 1,000 points in your sophomore year, you know you're doing some serious work.
Sitting right on 1,000 for Quavian Smith. Knocked around to the entry, taken by Gantz.
They're trying to get, League Bay has not scored in this game as well. We haven't said his name a lot.
Wolfpack doing this without the benefit of any free throws so far, G-Man.
I mean, they've had a few drives inside.
Burns lost it on the way up, out of bounds, and that is off of Boston College, according to Tommy Morrissey, who was right there for the call. I kind of like this keeping Burns in there, making him play disciplined basketball.
Yeah, and well, we talked on it. Kevin Keats is really reluctant to play you with 2 fouls in the first half, but a little bit more room for error here with the third personal foul.
Burns.
And the last couple of times he's settled for a little fadeaway shot. Not putting any pressure on post to defend.
Zachary, nifty dribble, and the jumper. Joyner, out-leaping everyone. Joyner feeds it to Burns.
And this game is dangerously close to getting out of shape for Boston College. Will Grant letting them play through it at this point.
14 points for Burns. Ashton Langford unable to save it. Right near our broadcast position in the front row.
There's a look inside, and you can see that Smith with the little, Joyner with the little hesitation. He drew post over. Easy 2 points for Burns.
Jarkel Joyner playing in 140th collegiate basketball game as a transfer from Ole Miss and Cal State Bakersfield. Morsell got bumped. A League Bay on the foul. It's just one of 2 on your regional sports network out of the ACC. We'll also have Virginia Tech on the road at Notre Dame. Mike Bray in his final season, stepping away from the program after this year. Zachary the steal, and the shovel. Bickerstaff knifing his way to the basket.
And you could see Burns really just gave him that lane, did not even want to come close to picking up his 4th foul. If you're not in position to block, just it's 2 points, let it go. You got a 15-point lead.
5 points now for Bickerstaff. Morsell holding that follow through.
Well, the 3-point shot is just killing Boston College right now. 8 of 16 for the Wolfpack.
BC has just one make.
Free throws are overrated, Tom.
Yeah, from 3-point distance, it's Zachary has the only 3. Mid-range Bickerstaff, and now Joyner. Joyner ripping the ropes for NC State. Timeout on the court.
I mean, you know, at this point with those, there's not a whole lot you can do.
9 made threes in the game for NC State. Joyner had the last one for Coach Keats.
It's bow time. That's not a phone in your pocket. It's a
lot colder a week ago, and right now BC needs to snap out of it. Trying to get back in this one after trailing by 12 at halftime to Kevin Keats and the visiting Pack.
Well, with that, you know, for NC State with the win, looking to get join that group with 10 wins at the top of the conference. The only team that can get to that point, still try to keep themselves very much in the conversation for a double bye.
Boston College has an 8-5 home record. In serious jeopardy right now as they turn it over, and here comes Smith. He lost the handle of the post. Ashton Langford the feed. Zachary the layup, the tip, second and third tries. And that's the BC situation in a nutshell. And there's Joyner with style up and in.
Tom, how about this half? We've seen Post miss a dunk, and then Zachary miss an easy layup right there.
Ashton Langford, a tough layup. He was falling away from the rim, and he made it, and they needed it. Smith leads the way with 17. Here's Burns, stutter step. Travel. BC had its chances at one end. At the other end, Jarkel Joyner surveys the situation, hangs and scores. NC State big. Our Coyote Tractor turning point as NC State starts to pull away in the second half.
It's been a three-point shot, 9 of 17. I thought that number might come down a bunch in the second half, but they picked right up. Just putting so much pressure on Boston College to defend and convert. And BC on the other end, 1 of 5 from 3 and only 41% from the field.
That's right about their average for made threes in a game for NC State, Mike.
Well,
as you see.
I tell you what, Tom, you had better be able to defend guys off the dribble if you're going to guard this backcourt for NC State.
That's 4th in the conference in made threes per game. Boston College having its struggles.
Now here's the thing. I mean, defensively, at some point you make choices, right? And rather than letting them get into the rim, right now I'd almost want them to get into the paint and make this a 2-point game instead of letting them shoot threes.
BC's attempted 8 free throws. NC State none. Ashton Langford got his defender in the air and missed. How about NC State? They are running too, Mike. 14 fast break points after just 2 in the loss at Virginia on Tuesday. They lead the conference in that category.
Well, and that was a season low for them, and Virginia took very good care of the basketball. Marcel with a rare miss from behind the arc.
Bickerstaff wants to run. Euros around Marcel and lays it in.
Pretty good rush up the floor, and with that long shot, NC State a little slow getting back defensively in transition.
Gant, Burns, blocked by Ashton Langford, who got there, and then the loose ball picked up and scored by the Pack.
And that was just a nice job by Burns of staying with the play, and he's actually played very well, Tom, with the 3rd personal foul. And Post is yet to score in 6.5 minutes of this half.
16 points in the first half. Gant knocked it away. Joyner gives it off. Marcel somehow got it up on the cylinder. Was fouled in the process.
I'll tell you what, Here's the look, and it's just great fighting around from behind. Greg Gant getting that, and you know, Gant is he really is a perfect story of this team, Tom. Here's a guy who had 10 DNPs on the year and 10 starts.
80% from the line, Morsell this season, 32 of 40. Free throw number 1 in the game for NC State. While we have a moment, a message from Coyote Tractor.
In my experience, if you work the land, you got to be a jack of all trades. You got to have a little bit of optimism and a whole lot of get-go.
And that the first made free throw of the game for NC State.
As a team, they're 72% from the season, 13th in the conference, so they don't necessarily need the free throws. Post looking for his first points of the second half. And a nice look from Kelly.
Nice feed in the paint area. I always love bounce passes more than direct passes. They're a lot easier to catch.
Kelly is a famous name here at Boston College, Mike. John Snooks Kelly, class of 28, is one of the honored former athletes here inside Connie Forum, hanging in the rafters. BC lost on the ice to Maine last night. Converted to the basketball court. Here we go. Boston College has the ball back.
Well, and this NC State team is used to playing over ice as well. Yeah, see? Over the Hurricanes.
Snooks Kelly, the head coach, Mike, back in the 30s and 40s.
You were all. Are we? We're not that.
Post, that'll settle into the rim.
Yeah, now I'm going to bring you back to basketball and then bring you back to 2023. I mean, Snooks is great, but you know,
one of the all-time great nicknames, clearly.
And BC is they've changed up. They've gone zone the last couple of possessions. It's got NC State standing around a little bit.
Burns, Gant's easy rim bender.
You know that both Gant and Ross have been the beneficiary of Burns' passing ability, because when they come big like that, when they go inside, he drew everybody inside and just a great pass.
Kelly looking for space into the corner. Madsen catch and release. Post went down, got tangled up with Gant.
And they got the fourth on Burns.
To see who they give it to, G-Man. There's a lot going on there.
Oh, they're going to give it to Gant.
Gant got it. Okay. Gant, the beneficiary of the pass from DJ Burns. 20-point lead.
Wouldn't it be great if all...
You know, there's the big three. I mean, that's where the offense is going to come from. And Burns, again, a lot of the offense runs through him. I mean, we talked about Smith and his assists, but Burns in the middle of that zone is playing awfully well as well.
Now, you say big three in Boston, Mike.
Wow.
A couple of other names come to mind.
I never heard of those guys.
Bird, McHale, and Parrish.
No.
81, 84, 86 NBA champs. All right, stay tuned for the fast break. It's presented by your local Ford dealer. And we'll give you more detail about the second game of our doubleheader, Virginia Tech and Notre Dame. Jumper is short from Kelly.
BC did a decent job on the offensive glass in the first half, but that's gone away for them as well. State keeping them off the glass.
NC State shooting 57% as a team. Joyner got fouled on the way to the rack.
And again, I mean, you know, you have to make choices, and yeah, you want to force him left, sure, but what a finish. He's just, it almost looked like he surprised BC how fast he was able to get to the rim.
Reminds me so much of Anthony Cat Barber, who played at NC State. So quick in every aspect. And this is going to be a major boost of confidence for Jarkel Joyner, who had struggled in the last 2 games. Madsen, best 3-point shooter on the BC roster.
First points of the game for him. Time for him to show up. You know what the thing about State, though, too, Tom, is that if they win this game, they get to 500 on the road, which if you look at the top teams in the conference, they are all 500 or better away from home. It's going to be a big component going down the stretch.
3 and 4 in conference play away from Raleigh in PNC Arena.
Although NC State after this game, pretty favorable home and away going down the stretch.
Next game for the Pack, Tuesday at Syracuse at the Dome, 7 Eastern, only regular season meeting between NC State and the Orange, and that's Kelly. Puts a little English on that one, off the glass.
Well, and they've had 2 guys the last 2 possessions had not scored in this game, and Kelly and Madsen, but a good take off the drive coming underneath. And this is really, if BC can grind this game down, get to the free throw line, get 3-point plays the old-fashioned way.
Just an absolute career day at Virginia Tech for Chaz Kelly. He's only attempted now 9 free throws on the season and made 5. Couldn't finish off the 3-point play. Eagles trying to chip away. Tough to do when NC State is making 9 3-pointers and you've only made 2. Foul against BC. Looks like Madsen. So the foul is against NC State. BC has the ball.
Interesting. Armani Mighty out on the floor for BC with Post out of the game.
So Morsell for NC State, 14 in red and white, picked up that last foul. Kelly, Morsell on the hip. Mighty got it back. Mighty with the move. Oh, we traveled.
Just think he got the ball a little, 1 step outside of his comfort zone, and that caused the travel.
I don't know if Coach Grant saw the travel as well for Armani Mighty, the freshman from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. 6'10", 225, number 2 in gold and maroon. Joyner crossed it over. Madsen was waiting. Morsell.
And you know what? He's been quiet today. I mean, you know, with the way that Joyner and Smith have been guarding, and Morsell has been on a streak of his own. He's now in double figures too.
3 of 6 on 3-pointers for Morsell.
Kelly, 27% on the year coming in.
3rd 3 of the game for the Eagles.
Still enough time to claw back in this game.
Morsell reloads for 3.
Of course, not if NC State keeps 11 of 23 now from behind the arc. It's just tough, especially for BC. It's tough for anybody to keep pace with that.
NC State made 8 threes in the losing effort at Virginia on Tuesday, 63-50. Mighty from the elbow. Mighty. Not high enough on the square. Ashton Langford picks it up and fires. Mighty got it back. He hit the deck, foul on the play. Looked like Gant was in the vicinity, G-Man.
You like the effort. I mean, you know, you like what he's putting out on the floor.
It's 4 on Gant. Mighty started the day 4 of 15 from the line. 3 fresh faces in. for NC State. Gant leaves with the 4 personal fouls. Smith follows him, and Dewana.
And I think, you know, more than anything, that's just a function of not a lot of trips consistently to the free throw line over the course of the year.
BC as a team near the bottom of the conference, G-Man, 72% from the stripe, 14th. Closing in on the 8-minute threshold. Tom Wormy along with Mike. Snooks Jaminski. Madsen diving for it. Joyner took it back. He'll dunk it.
Better than Coco. I don't think.
Throw a T-bone in there too.
Yeah, I don't think Snooks is going to stick.
No. I thought I'd give it a shot. Kelly, there he is. Driving to the rim. Nifty move, Kelly.
That's going to be there. Again, Burns is going to be a little reluctant right now to help out. Everybody lifted. That open driving lane.
7 points for Kelly, the freshman from Houston, Texas. Houston home of the Final Four this year, Mike. See what sort of representation the ACC might have after sending 2 to the Final Four a season ago, and North Carolina to the title game. Timeout on the court. 7:16 on the game clock. Comfortable 20-point lead, NC State.
Sports app.
Oh, mercy! Fans of all ages taking in our game this afternoon. Unfortunately for that young guy and BC fans, it's a 20-point uphill climb with Joyner standing on the free throw line. Joyner in the game, 21 points. Mike, he leads everybody with those 21. Post has 20 for BC.
You know, we were talking to Kevin Keats before the game time. We talked about, you know, how did the team feel about its ranking, and they were taking good ownership of it. They've played their way into that ranking, and, you know, as opposed to some teams that were anointed before the season. North Carolina and Duke finding themselves outside of the rankings.
Madsen, 3-ball corner pocket.
Second 3 that he's hit in the game.
Madsen has 29 made 3-pointers on the season now. That's the best for the Eagles.
And how about with this one, you know, and Joyner just, Tre'Quavion Smith has had the second half off. But good news for NC State, Jack Clark on the ball, on the court for the first time in a while. Missed the last 10 games.
Points, Jarkel Joyner. Madsen, same spot. Not the desired result. Here comes Smith. Burns leans in and scores.
He's just so good at getting that shot up. He can protect it with his body in the left hand.
Zachary had it knocked away to stay at this end of the floor. So Jack Clark, the graduate student, the transfer from LaSalle, had a core muscle injury, Mike, and that was against Clemson at home December 30th. So he's been out for 10 games.
And that was a guy who gave them 9.7 rebounds early on in the season. So that was a big gap to fill. And frankly, Gant and Ross have done a nice job filling in for him.
Yeah, 15 starts prior to today for Jack Clark, and Dusan Mahorcic.
Well, and you know, and Kevin Keats said that you know, he thought he might see some action today. This lead gives him some time on the floor. They want him to get in shape for the postseason, the ACC tournament and the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, Mahorcic, the big guy for NC State with a kneecap injury earlier in the season, and he's missed 16 games. He left as a leading rebounder for the team with 6.5 per game, but has not seen action since the game against Coppin State. And there's Clark, ringing the bell for the pack.
And that's not a huge part of his game either, but the three-point shooting is contagious for the Wolfpack in this game.
They're up to 13 made threes on 25 tries. Mike, that's 52% as the Eagles come back with a bucket at the other end.
And you can just see it's deflating for BC's defense to, they're knocking down long threes, and here you got a guy who hasn't played in a long time. He comes out shooting.
Well, the lead was 12 at halftime for NC State. Mike mentioned through 25 games this year, 19-6, and a good chance to get their 20th win. Their best record, Mike, since, as you said, back in the 05-06 season.
Well, and think of this too, that we talked about BC without Post and what they did prior to that, but what Kevin Keatts has done without Clark and Mahorcic, really, really fabulous.
Time for the Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. Upcoming schedule for Coach Keatts.
Yeah, I mean, for right now, I can't think of. There aren't a lot of teams that have had 3 in a row at home. So yeah, you want to be able to play the best against the best competition. They're going to be coming to Raleigh.
Traveling violation. They won at Wake Forest by a point, 78-77. Won at home against Miami, number 16 in the nation at the time, in overtime. And the Duke game, Mike, that was January 4th against the Blue Devils in Raleigh. 84-60. They led by as many as 29 in that game.
Yeah, one of the worst beatings that I've seen that Duke team take in a long, long time.
Number 22 in the nation.
That looks like definitely an upward trajectory for this squad.
Yeah. For BC, this is their 7th game this season against a ranked team. 2-4 with wins at home against Clemson and Virginia Tech. They swept the Hokies this season with a win on the road Wednesday in Blacksburg. Turnover, Joyner.
That's just, those are the points you really have to avoid, and that's 15 turnovers, 24 points off those turnovers for the Wolfpack.
26 points for Joyner, 10 of 14 from the floor, and 5 made threes. Zachary.
I mean, it's been 2 points versus 3 points.
19-6 is the lead in fast break points for NC State. Joyner on the handle. So this is after a serious struggle, just 2 of 14 against Virginia. Ball came right back to Joyner. Burns around Mighty, who recovered.
He's got some good length now, pretty good recovery. I thought that Burns had him sealed on the spin.
Joyner's over 20 points for the 8th time this season. Empty possession there for NC State. Four players in double digits in this game, including Joyner with his 26. Here's Madsen. He thought he got fouled.
He got hit with no whistle.
Joyner ran into post. Kelly
driven himself into trouble.
Trying to get it back to post, deflected out of bounds, and it'll stay with the Eagles. We'll take a timeout with 2:30 to go in regulation, and NC State in front.
This puts the surf and turf savings at the Fresh Market.
For the vast majority of this game after building a 12-point halftime lead, and that guy sitting on the bench, Jarkel Joyner, 26 points, Mike, just 3 shy of his season high of 29.
Yeah, the backcourt has been fabulous, and really for Kevin Keatts, this game couldn't have turned out better, not just with the win, but being able to get Clark with the rebound right there. Pretty good minutes on the floor.
Four different players to double digits. Told you about Joyner. Burns has 18. Morsell with 13. Terquavian Smith has 17. Clark again, second three.
Kevin Keatts calling timeout. He's just trying to get people in the ball game. Pass going to come in.
Pass the sophomore from Reedsville, North Carolina. On the other side for Boston College, Quentin Post no longer in the game. 4th straight game with 20 points or more for the Eagles. Kelly, Madsen,
This NC State has been dominant both ends of the floor. Defensively, having a terrific game, and then putting up, looking at 90 points right here on the road.
They are second in the league in scoring, but this is well above their season average of about 78 points per game. Clark got it back. Morsell with the time and the release. And another timeout. He looks good when he takes that three-point shot, Mike.
That's you know, that's basically all he's taken in this game. 8 of his 9 field goal attempts have been from 3, and he's 5 of 8.
With 5 made threes, just one shy of his career high for made threes in a game. His day's done.
Yeah, it was an afterthought getting 16 points. He was the 4th option in the offense after your starting backcourt and Burns.
The ACC taking note of NC State, one of 3 ranked teams out of the conference. Turnover in the final minute. Thomas came up short. So NC State, Mike, is going to improve to 20-6, 10-5 in conference play. Up and under move from pass. Ernest Ross is there, too strong. Foul is called. I mean, NC State, that's a deep ball club. They've got weapons, they've got scorers, speed, defense, all the ingredients.
Tom, if you add 3-point shooting to that, now they're not going to consistently go out and shoot 50% from the 3, but still, I mean, if that's an extra layer on it, this is a really dynamic offensive team.
Their only real deficiency is from the free throw line. 72% as a team is 13th in the ACC. Did not need the free throw this afternoon. The Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina upcoming schedule for Earl Grant and Boston College.
And that's a big game for Pitt as well, to stay in that top 4 at the top of the league. And it just, you know, it's amazing. Virginia, number 8. Nobody in the conference seems to be talking about them, but they just keep playing Virginia basketball and keep winning a big game against Duke today.
Pitt's won 4 in a row as well.
And how about what Jeff Capel has done there after that 1-3 start? Their team looking very much like an NCAA tournament team.
Virginia, Miami, and this NC State team right now the ranked teams in the ACC. Ross defensively, rejection. A little erratic in the closing seconds as we run up and down the court here at Connie Forum. Anytime you can go 500 on the road in the ACC, you're doing some exceptional work, and that's what they will be right now.
Yep.
With the win today, they'll be 4-4.
And anytime you can come to Boston in February and have it be 50+ degrees, you're also ahead of the game as well.
Certainly you are. It's always great, though, to make this trip back to the Commonwealth. C.J. Pena was at the free throw line for Boston College. So NC State has now won 5 of the last 7 meetings between the teams after losing to Boston College at home a season ago. The only scheduled meeting of the regular season goes to the Wolfpack, 92-62 for Coach Keats.
Well, those are the type of wins you love on the road, Tom. You get this one put away early. Got some people, you know, especially the biggest beneficiary of this whole thing may have been Jack Clark today, and getting him some court time. Good to see him running back up and down. But I mean, Joyner, Smith, you know, maybe no doubt that they're the best backcourt in the conference right now.
18 points for the big man, DJ Burns. Joyner led everybody with his 26 and 5 made 3-pointers. The Pack as a team, Mike, made 15 threes.